Hello, I'm Dr. George Mercer, and this is the Naturopathic Way. I put together this short video in order to be able to take away the mystery of what it is that a naturopathic doctor does. But first, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a doctor of naturopathy and a wellness coach. And these are some of the tools that I use in my practice. And I'm going to explain them in detail, but I just want to review them at this point. Kinesiology, which is a non-intrusive health evaluation. Total body analysis, which is also non-intrusive but more detailed than the kinesiology. Custom flower remedies. Iridology, which is the study of the iris of the eye. And sclerology, which is the study of the white portion of the eye. I was focusing on these techniques and these methodologies alone up until 2011, when my mentor, Dr. Wyatt, passed away in his mid-50s. He was a man who meditated every day, who was a vegetarian. He had vitamins and minerals that he took. He had all kinds of tools at his disposal. Yet and still, he dies of a heart attack in his mid-50s. It made me take a look at what I was doing and what other practitioners were doing that were under his tutelage. And it seemed that somewhere along the line we had gotten away from the spiritual part of the human being, the mental part of the human being. In the first thing that they teach us when we start as naturopathic doctors or even certified health professionals is that you have to balance the mind, the body, and the spirit. It's called homeostasis. Once you do that, the body has the incredible ability to heal itself. But somewhere along the line, we let that slide. Now, I had been working on myself, doing some mental and spiritual work and on some of my clients, but it wasn't a major focal part of my practice. But after Dr. Wyatt's untimely and tragic passing, I changed the focus of my practice to focus more on the mind and the spirit. So I became a wellness coach, helping people to reduce their stress and anxiety, help them with weight management, which seems to be a constant concern for people, better mental clarity, and balancing, of course, of the mind, the body, and the spirit, and much, much more. Some of the tools that I utilized for that were Psych-k, which helps to remove limiting beliefs, Tabit's acupressure technique, which also helps to remove limiting beliefs, but works really good on traumatic events. And these are the tools that I was using for about a decade before 2011, when I actually decided to make them a major part of my practice. But these two tools had a lot of algorithms with them, had a lot of rules and philosophies around what you had to do depending on each individual client. And it not only made it challenging for me, but it made it challenging for the client as well. So I was looking for something simpler. So along came tapping, and at first it was a little too easy. It was too easy for me to consider. I mean, I said, this can't possibly work. But the more research I did, I discovered that not only did it work, but there was scientific evidence to prove why it worked. And there were so many people getting fabulous results that I could no longer ignore it. So I made it a part of my practice, and I'm glad that I did, because so many of my clients are getting great results with tapping. So let's take a closer look at kinesiology, which is a strength challenge of any given muscle to identify body capability of any given substance, or used to evaluate the electrical system or condition of a specific acupressure point. Most people use the arm for this stress challenge simply because it's convenient. What we do is we take the arm and we push down on the arm and then we have the person resist the pushing. And then, depending on whether the arm stays strong or goes weak, gives an indication, and that we use that indication as an identifier for us to determine whether organs are weak, whether vitamins and minerals are missing in a person's system, whether there are pathogens that are causing problems. So it's a very good technology, but it does have its limitations. It is accurate. You can do something called therapy localizing, which can help you to discover where the health challenge is originating. Say you find that the person has parasites, well, you can find out where in the body those parasites are stored. Maybe in the liver, maybe in the lungs. There's no need for x-rays or blood tests or anything intrusive like that. And you can test the body's sensitivity to anything. You can test the body's sensitivity to people, objects, supplements, food. So it's a very useful tool. But it is subjective, so you have to be focused and you have to have a clear mind. That's why you got to choose your practitioner carefully. You want to make sure that that person knows what they're doing. And then there's total body analysis. Now, total body analysis is different from kinesiology in the sense that it's less intrusive because you don't touch the body. You touch vials in a kit. And it's much more accurate. You can get down to not only certain organs in the body, but you can get down to specifics like whether it's the left or the right part of that organ or not, or a certain valve, or what type of parasite, or what type of virus, or what type of minerals are missing, and so forth and so on. And it takes much less time to complete an evaluation. And it's less questionable. I mean, some people have a little bit of a challenge when you start poking around in their body at imaginary points. At least with the kits, there's actual substance that they can see. So that tends to make it a little bit more acceptable. And from that, I'm able to create a customized remedy. Simple drops that a person can take that work at the cellular level and can turn around things really, really quickly, because that's where actual change takes place, at the cellular level. And it cuts down the need for a whole lot of expensive supplements. Now, this is just an example of the kits. This is the master kit, and this has the pathogens in it. And also across the top, it has the different organs and systems that I want to make sure I check against when I do the final remedy. I want to make sure I check against this final row to make sure that there's nothing else needed, like supplements or anything else, to go in conjunction with the remedy that I've created. And this is just a closer look of those vials and some of the names that are on them, some of the organs and glands that are on there. Now, I also do custom flower remedies. Now, flower remedies are essences that have vibrational characteristics. And these characteristics can help change the characteristics of the mind. Say a person has lack of motivation. Well, they can take a certain flower remedy, and that flower remedy will help them to be more motivated. Now, I use the same method as a total body analysis. So I not only have more flower essences at my disposal, instead of, say, 30 something like with Bach flower remedies, I have over 300. I have nearly 300 flower remedies at my disposal, and they're from 4 different companies. So there's a lot of characteristics that I can work with, and I don't guess. I mean, Bach asks you to get an idea from asking questions from a person as to what the characteristics that they need to change. I just use kinesiology to ask the body what needs to be changed, so it's much more accurate. And then I also do iridology, which is the study of the inner part of the eye, or the iris. And this gives you a better idea of what the history is of a person's physical form. Okay, and this takes a while to change, but you can at least get an idea of what's going on inside of a person by looking at the iris of the eye. And I use a magnifier, either a magnifying glass or some kind of tool to get inside the eye and see the conditions of the eye, of the inner eye. And then there's sclerology, which is study of the white part of the eye, the sclera, and it shows more of current conditions. It's easier to read, and also changes show up faster in the sclera, so I can see when I'm working with someone whether or not they're healing or not by what is going on in the sclera. Then there's Psych-k. Now, Psych-k aligns the left and the right hemispheres of the brain. Okay, it creates balance of thought. It's not, you're not too emotional, you're not too logical, or it takes the scientific part of your brain and matches it with the spiritual part of your brain, so that you can analyze ideas and beliefs from a better perspective. Okay, and I use kinesiology to communicate with the subconscious mind. And this helps me discover what a person's true beliefs are. I mean, people believe that what they think they understand from their conscious mind, but they really don't understand what's going on in the subconscious mind. And since the subconscious mind is much more powerful than the conscious mind, you really need to know what's going on there, because if you can discover what's there with things like Psych-k, you can go in just like files on the computer and delete what you don't want and replace it with what you do. And then there's TAT, which works on cellular memory, very good with past traumas. And past traumas can be passed down from generation to generation. So this helps remove the energy blockage connected to that trauma. The actual event really did take place. We're not saying that it didn't take place, but what it does is it takes the resistance of the event away, it takes that energy off of it. And once that traumatic stress ends, the body can heal and energy flows through the body freely and cleanly. It's just like a boulder in a stream. And then there's EFT, emotional freedom technique, which is the energy psychology. Okay, you use acupressure points similar to those used in Chinese acupuncture, but instead of using needles, you use your fingers, and you're telling yourself different affirmations and things of that nature, and it helps to clear negative energy out of the body. It's very powerful. Works on almost anything from pain to stress. I mean, it's an amazing technique. It helps with health and vitality. It helps with mindset, how you see the world. It helps to reduce stress. Very, very powerful. Here are some additional tools that I use. Body typing. I can look at a person's body shape and it gives me an idea of their possible condition. Face and hand analysis, tongue analysis, fingernail analysis, and also I do some chi light therapy as well. So as you can see, as a naturopathic doctor, we do a lot of things. We have a lot of modalities available to us to be able to evaluate you and to determine what's going on with you. And then we also have ways of helping you to correct the challenges that you face. It's not just about telling you what's wrong with you, but it's also about telling you what's going on with you and providing a solution for you that is not going to make things worse, but help your body to make things better. John Maxwell said that if you don't have peace, it isn't because someone took it from you. You gave it away. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can control what happens in you. Take control of what happens in you. This is my contact information. You need to get in touch with me. Thank you very much for your time. I hope this helps to clear up what we do as naturopathic doctors, and I hope to hear from you soon. Take care and be blessed.